Okay, so then this is the kind of the last type of problem we're going to be doing with tax and percents and discounts. So we looked at finding the final price. We looked at finding what was the percent of the tax or the discount. And then this is the last one, what was the finding the original price if you're given the final price and the value of the discount. So we're just going to get right started. Let's say you have a final price of $32. And you know that there was a discount of 20%. And you're trying to find, well, then what was the original price? What did it cost before I had the discount? We're going to do the same method of looking at our part, our whole, and our percent. We start these all off the same. Our original price, as we've always had it, that's our whole. That's the original amount. We're finding what percent of that are we talking about. Our final price is going to be our part. So we're going to put 32 right here. And then we're going to stop and we're going to think before I put the percentage in there. We're going to think, this 32, what does it represent? What percent of the original amount? It doesn't represent 20% of the original amount. The 20% is what you did not buy. That's what you didn't purchase. What you did buy was the other 80%. So let's think of the whole thing as 100%. You take away 20%, that's the discount. You are left with spending 80%, okay, or 100 minus 20. You are left spending 80%. So this 32 represents 80% of the original price. So I'm going to use 80 for my percent right here. Okay. And if I had used 20, I would find that I would get an answer that doesn't really make sense or doesn't really seem quite as reasonable if there was only a 20% discount. So I'm going to put these into my proportions. You could do the multiplying thing too, where you do part equals the whole times the decimal version of the percent. So if you like to solve it that way, that's fine. I'm going to do it with proportions just because that seems where people seem to be getting the most success. So we have 32 over x part over whole equals percent over 100. Okay, and this is the same method. We could watch earlier videos about this if we needed to, but part over whole is percent over 100. Cross multiply to solve, that gives me 80x equals 32 times 100, or 80x equals 3200. And we would have to divide by 80. And you can use a calculator when you're doing these, that's not a problem. In this case, that would give us 40 as our answer. X is going to equal 40. So then we're going to stop, we're going to think about this. We're going to put 40 right here. And before I finalize my answer, I should stop and I should think, does this seem reasonable? Does this make sense? $40, 20% off, leaves me paying 32. That should sound reasonable. We could even do a quick 10%, say 10% is 4. Double that would be 20, so that totally works. Original was $40. But the key thing there was, even though the discount was 20%, the percent I was going to use in my problem is 80%. It's what I'm actually paying. It's the amount that is left. Okay. Then that leaves us with a final option, which is if you have tax. Let's say you have a final price of $21.80, and you know that the tax was 9%, and you want to find out, well, what was the original price? What did it cost before the tax came in? Okay. And so we're going to do the same thing, part, whole, percent. Whole is that original price. That's what I'm trying to find. The part is what I paid. That's $21.80. That leaves me with the percent. And before I write 9%, again, I need to think, what does this 21 represent? It represents not 9% of the original amount. It represents the whole original amount plus another 9% that I had to pay for tax. So really our percent, it's 100% of the original price you have to pay because it wasn't on sale, plus an additional 9% in your tax. So really 109% is the percent that you're going to be using here. Okay, so then I will put it in my part over whole equals percent over 100. And I'm using x for my whole value because I don't know what that is. I don't know what my original price is yet. 109 over 100. I'll cross multiply these to solve this. 109x equals 2180 times 100, or 109x equals 2180. And when you multiply by 100, you can just move the decimal twice. And I would divide by 109 to isolate that variable, isolate that x. Those would cancel out. And 2,180 divided by 109. I could use a calculator for that, or I might just recognize that that's about double plus a 0. So that's going to give me 20. So I'm going to put 20 up here, and I'm going to stop and I'm going to think about this. Does this make sense? It's so important every time. Stop and think. Does it make sense? $20 is the original price, plus a little bit of tax, leaves us with $21.80. That totally seems reasonable. That is the correct answer. Okay, so this was the way to figure out the original price. Remember, the key thing here is thinking about what this final price represents, what percent of the original amount, whether it's like subtracting this from 100, you're paying 80%, or if there's tax, you're paying more than 100, and it's 109%. Good luck.